Hi there, in this video we're going to learn about sales tax, tips, and markup. Okay, sales tax is an additional amount of money charged on items that people buy. Here in New Jersey, they charge sales tax on everything except for clothes and like food if you buy it from like the supermarket, like essential food. But they don't charge you tax, or sorry, I should say, but they charge you tax if you go out to like a restaurant and they like prepare the food for you. So like if you go out and you buy like a TV, that you're going to get charged tax. If you go out and buy a refrigerator, you're going to get charged tax. So actual physical items you get charged tax for here in New Jersey. But you don't get charged tax for clothes because it's like essential. You don't get charged for, food when you buy it at the supermarket. Okay, so here's our first example. Drew wants to buy exercise equipment that costs $140 and the sales tax is 5.75%. What is the total cost of the equipment? So first thing you need to do is you need to find your tax first. So the tax we said was 5.85% of $140. So there are two ways that you can do this. So I'm going to show you both ways. It doesn't matter which way you do it. So this is the first way, the percent proportion. Think of it as what is 5.75% of $140. So if remember the setup is over of equals percent over 100. You have the 5.75%, right, over 100. And this is of 140, so the 140 is at the bottom. And you're trying to find the is over here. So then you just cross multiply. You have 100x is equal to 5.75 times 140, which is 819. And then just solve for x, and you get x to be 8. This isn't 819. This is 805. So I cross multiplied 140 times 5.75 to get 805. And I cross multiplied x times 100 to get 100x. And then you divide both sides by 100 to get x by itself. You get x to be 8.05. So your tax here is $8.05. So this is one way to find tax. So if tax is 5.85% of $140, you need to find 5.85% of 140, which is $8.05. You could find it like this if you want, or you could do it this way. This is the way that I prefer to do it. Where you do part equals percent as a decimal times whole. All you do is take your percent, move the decimal over 2 spaces to the left. So it would be 0.0575 times your whole, which is 140. So if you do 0.0575 times 140, you get 8.05. So your tax is $8.05. This is a little bit faster. So once you get your tax, doesn't matter which method you use, then you just add your tax to the total cost. So if you have 140, the equipment costs $140 and we're adding $8.05, you end up getting $148.05 as your total. Tip or gratuity. Obviously, when you go out to eat at a restaurant, you leave tip. So a small amount of money in return for service. So a customer wants to tip 15% on a restaurant bill. That is $35. What will the total bill with tip be? So first you want to find the amount of tip. So the amount of tip is 15%. So we want to find 15% of $35. Is over of equals percent over 100. So we know 15%. So 15% is going to go at the top. Of 35 is going to go on the bottom left. Now we just want to cross multiply. So we get 100x is equal to 35 times 15 is 525. Divide both sides by 100 and you get your x to be $5.25. So that's what our tip is. Here we could do the same thing. Move the decimal over 2 places to the left, so it would be 0.15 times 35. 0.15 times 35 gets you $5.25. Doesn't matter which way you do it. And then just add your tip to the cost. So $5.25 plus 35 is equal to $40.25. So you would pay $40.25. Markup is just the amount of increase. So let's say it takes a store only $5 to make a shirt. They're going to mark up the price $10 so that they make profit off of it. And that price, that $10, is the selling price. It's the amount of the money. It's the amount of money a customer pays for an item. A store pays $56 for a GPS system. The markup is 25%. Find the selling price. So here we can use a percent proportion. What is 25% of $56, right? That's what the question's asking us. So 25 over 100, x over 56. Cross multiply. 100x is equal to 1400. I just multiplied 56 times 25. Divide both sides by 100 and you get x to be $14. So your markup is $14. Then you can also use the percent equation. So what is 25% of 56? Move the decimal place over 2 places to the left. So it's 0.25 times 56. 0.25 times 56 is 14. So your markup is $14. And then you would just add your markup to the price to find the selling price. So 14 plus 56, so $70 would be your total price after the markup. Okay, so in other words, if the GPS was $56 and they marked up the price 25% more, they're going to charge you $70. That's how much they're going to sell it for. Okay, so your concluding thoughts. You want to find the amount reflective of the percentage. So that means like the tip, the markup, the selling price. That's what you want to find first. And then you're going to add whatever this amount is to the amount given. So like here, we found the tax, and then we added it to the bill. Here, we found the tip, and then we added it to the bill. And here, we found the markup, and we added it to the selling price. All right, I hope you learned how to find sales tax, tips, and markup. Thank you for watching.